out. Stand by. And we're on. Go.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the debut episode of our video podcast called Hi Chicago. Basically, it's going to be a Chicago-based podcast. We're going to talk about things that are going on in the city. We're going to talk about things that are going on nationally. The four of us are from Chicago, and that's kind of how we all met. That's kind of where we came up with the name for the podcast. So I'm going to do a quick introduction of myself and my homies, and then we'll get to it, right? So my name is Sean. I'm big into sports, right? Big Bulls fan, Lakers fan, Bears fan, Sox fan, big into Marvel movies. I try to live my life by the Mamba mentality day in, day out, no matter what I'm doing. And I just enjoy shooting the shit with the homies right here. So let me introduce you to Rashard LaMarcus.
Hey, what's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
What's good, bro? Tell us about yourself.
Well, let's see. I'm a local newscaster here in Illinois. I'm a sports guy, just like you are, Sean. You know what I'm saying? White Sox did it. University of Memphis is where I graduated from. When it comes to the Bears and Packers, I'm rolling with Green Bay all day. It depends on my mood at the same time. But I'm a cool, chill guy that's going to bring you everything that you want on this podcast with no spin, no twist. Whatever.
Bet. That's what's up. And then we got MC. What's good?
So I'm Mary Claire, or y'all can call me MC, whatever you want. Mary.
Hey, MC.
I don't really care. I'll keep it real. I'll tell you if I don't like what you're calling me. I'm 26. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. That's how I met these fools. And now I live in H-Town or Houston, Texas. I am a store manager for a local food retailer down here. And I just also like to shoot the shit, keep it real, talk my opinion, not really scared. So here to share what I got.
All right, that's what's up. And then last but not least, we got Aaron. Aaron, what's good, bro?
All right, my name's Aaron. I'm basically a 29-year-old guy who's into comic book movies and sports. Sports are like my life. I love the Green Bay Packers. Also a Spurs fan, so, you know, take that for what you will, even though I'm based in the Chicagoland area. And I'm just real, emotional, somewhat funny, I guess. And I'm just here, you know, to talk with these guys, man.
Can you tell us real quick why you wear those WWE headbands? What's the...
He already started.
As you know, everybody's in quarantine, and I can't get a lining, so I have a headband on to hide this disaster that is my lining.
I want to see the lining. Can I see the line? I'll show my lining.
How about you take your hat off, and we'll see what your lining looks like.
I just said we could. Okay,
All three, you take it off. Be real with us right here, right now.
No, I mean, we ain't gonna embarrass ourselves here.
Is she gonna take her wig off?
You are.
Is she gonna take her wig off?
No, probably not. But I appreciate the honesty, Aaron. And that's kind of what you're going to get on this podcast, right? Is just honest, real, raw, no holding back. Because we're all real people that go through real shit, right? So let's talk about it.
JV, did you tell me to take this wig off?
Yeah, we just want to see you kind of. It's kind of leaning to the side.
Going nowhere.
Yeah. All right.
No, keep the wig on, please. But to kind of kick it off, right, we want to talk about something that is big for me right now, right, and kind of big in society in general. And that's why is smoking weed not as socially acceptable as drinking liquor, right? So like me, I've done both, right? JV, I believe you've just had a little bit to drink here or there, right? I know Mary Claire, you fresh out of AA, if I'm not mistaken, or on your way in, one of the two.
I'm always put in one foot
somewhere.
back, so.
Yeah, she's somewhere.
I'm
in the
like
middle.
right on the doorstep, but like I'm also like leaning each way.
But you've also smoked, right, too? And then Aaron, I believe you're just a drinker, if that.
I mean, sometimes.
Okay, but
I don't know. Aaron used to be a drunk back in the day, but that's
no, that is untrue. We are not going to spread these salacious lies.
Story time.
According to my sources. But back to you, Sean. According to my sources, Aaron used to be a drunk.
Nah, so Mary, let me ask you, right? So why is it that it's cool if I go out and I get hammered, right? Maybe get behind the wheel, maybe start a fight in a bar, become belligerent, sloppy. Why is that cool? But it's not cool for me to just go out and just smoke and just be chill and relaxed.
I mean, I guess that depends on whose perspective you want. You want your grandmama's perspective or you want my perspective? If you want my perspective, I'm going to tell you, do what you do in life. But when it comes to involving myself, I have my own feels about everything. I personally prefer to go out and get hammered and drink and have a good time. I mean, obviously I'm responsible. If I know I'm going to get drunk off I'm going to take an Uber. I'm going to go act wild or at least make somebody else drive. As far as going out and smoking, I like to make sure I'm in the right type of environment where it's comfortable to smoke, because it's not something that you can just do anywhere at any time. Whereas like drinking, there's a ton of establishments where you can go out and have a drink and you can do it in the comfort of your home. Not too many after effects. When I say that, I mean like when I smoke, my hair absorbs the smell really easily. So do my clothes. I'm not going to smoke in my house, whether it's cigarette smoke, like weed, whatever it may be. Vaping, I know vaping doesn't have too much of an effect smell-wise, but I'm not going to sit here and light it up in my apartment because then everything's going to smell like it. I don't really like that. Not that cute. Not attractive. So if I'm going to smoke, it's going to be somewhere where everyone is smoking and everyone's okay with the smell, that kind of thing. So I guess it really comes down to it's more acceptable depending on who you're talking to and your reasonings why.
Not just society in general. Hell, there's bars everywhere that people go hammered
in general, for me, I think most people view alcohol more acceptable because we have places where we can go out and do it in the public. Shoot, you can go and sit in a restaurant, have a drink, and have your kids right there. Like, you can't have, you can't light it up at the dinner table when you're eating dinner, at a restaurant, but you sure can pour a drink, mixed drink, a beer, whatever you want, take a shot. They're not going to care.
And that's cool with you?
I mean, I think it's okay with drinking, yes. I feel like smoking, it's a little bit more uncomfortable when I'm sitting in a public place and a bunch of people around me light it up because, again, if I don't want to smell like it right then and there, I don't want to smell like it. Alcohol, it's a little different. You're taking it in yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. So, Aaron, I kind of want to hear from you, bro, because you don't necessarily do both, right?
Right.
And what's your thoughts on it being socially acceptable to drink liquor more than smoking weed?
Well, Mary Class, to your point about the whole it's only inside of you and the whole weed smoke thing sort of emanating through an entire area that you're in and not wanting to smell like that. But on one hand, I think a lot of the stigma for marijuana comes from people still stuck in the mindset of it was illegal at one point in time. Now, the reasons for it being illegal are sort of muddied. It's not quite, clear cut what the reasons were. But the fact of the matter is weed is less harmful than alcohol. That's been proven through studies. People know this already. But,
and that's facts.
But there, like she said, there are places where you can go get drunk. You can go act belligerent. Why it's acceptable? It's like I said, it is a mindset from a bygone era, if you will. I think, in my personal opinion, that weed is better. It truly is better to smoke weed. Now, the whole thing about reaction times being slow, you're very much slower when you're drunk than you are when you're high. But also, you're less likely to get into a fight. You're less likely to get engaged with another human being when you're high than when you're drunk. When you're drunk, you sort of get this little feeling where you're amped up, where you just want to be in the shit, if you will. But with weed, you just want to chill and be to yourself.
I think the point that you made earlier, too, like people standing around smoking, people don't accept it because at one point it used to be illegal. I will say, though, within the past 5 years, if I see a bunch of people standing around outside smoking, I'm not sitting there going like, ooh, are they smoking weed? Or are they smoking a cigarette? Like, whereas a lot longer ago, like if it was pretty obvious you were smoking a cigarette, and then if it was not a cigarette, like what a cigarette looks like, people were like, ooh, you smoking weed? I'm gonna call the cops. Where nowadays, like people are standing around smoking. Nobody really cares what you're smoking anymore because half the time it could be one thing or the other. It doesn't really matter because now we have all these different.
Well, just so we're clear, if you smoke cigarettes, something's wrong with you. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
Something's wrong.
Not a fan of cigarettes, man.
Ugly.
Wait.
JD, you got something to say about that?
I do have something to say about that.
Smoking Newports over there, boy.
No, I have. Let me make sure I put my hand up. I do not.
Man's got those cowboy killers in his pocket right now.
Not at all. I'm just saying, you can't. I feel like if you're going to accept if you're going to accept weed, you can accept cigarettes. Cigarettes been around since forever and a day. I mean, how are you guys going to even say such a thing?
Well, tobacco is much more harmful.
It's not the same thing.
Tobacco is much more harmful. There's so many fillers in there. and it is proven to cause lung cancer. What cancer has been proven for weed? None.
Okay, so here's my thoughts on the whole weed versus alcohol thing. As Sean, as you kind of mentioned, I never was the type to really drink or smoke. I can only recall one time ever being drunk, and that was when I spit up on your grandma's carpet. My bad to your grandparents' carpet for that. But I always took care of, you and Aaron and others, you know what I'm saying? During those times when y'all would get drunk and stuff like that. I don't think I've really been around you, Sean, when you were high, but I know I've been around Aaron when he was high. But my thing is like, I feel like by marijuana still being illegal on the federal level, marijuana being illegal in many other states, it's always going to have that stigma tied to it until it's something that's socially accepted. But when you think about just workplaces in general, and even college campuses, there's places where you can't even smoke cigarettes in certain areas on college campuses. It's certain dorms in college campuses you can't even, drink. So it's like, even though those things,
I know going to a dry campus is terrible.
Well, I mean, I can only imagine, right? Even though those things may be socially acceptable in some places, in other places, those things are being, shut down. In some workplaces where if they are like a no tobacco type company, you can't even smoke in your car. And Aaron, you work at warehouse area, you can probably attest to that, right?
I can. Yeah, we have a closed campus when it comes to smoking. You can't even smoke in the parking lot. They're shutting that stuff down too. Now, do people follow it? I mean, you can't enforce it when someone's in their car smoking unless you're gonna go knock on their window and be like, hey, put that cigarette out.
Coming from a retail management position as well, I do understand that whole stigma of having to let somebody go on a smoke break and they come back and all they smell of is cigarettes. I'm like, yo, bring some perfume, something. And sometimes that doesn't even help. Like, it's a hot mess and you got to figure out how to deal with it. Whereas, like, if somebody goes to the bathroom and takes a shot, I mean, you're not going to know unless they take like 2 shots. But
you also have a problem at that point. But based on your point, right? You said that if you go to the bathroom and take a shot, at that point you have a problem, right? And so maybe liquor's a vice of yours versus just a habit or a hobby, I guess is a better word to put it, right? So for me, right? So even me, I'm probably on like day 49 of just drinking straight. Something's wrong with me. I get that, right? That's a vice of mine that I can't help. But it's also like, it's quarantine. I ain't nothing else to do. I just want to drink. I want to relax. I'm stressed. I work in retail also, so that's stressful as hell. I got debt I'm trying to figure out. So it kind of helps me get away from reality, right? But if I do it too much, then I become belligerent, sloppy, pass out. But if I smoked more, maybe I'm just more relaxed, more focused, and I can like figure shit out easier instead of drinking every day for 49 days straight. I don't know.
Maybe.
JV, what do you think, bro? Well, I guess JV, what do you think, bro?
So, in my opinion, like, I've just never been the type to think like you have to rely on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Aaron, you good?
Taking the ankle brace off, man. You got a bad ankle. So I have my ankle brace off.
You on house arrest?
What kind of ankle brace are we talking about?
Yeah, what's going on?
We're talking about, the type that keeps your ankle from turning.
Okay, man's on house arrest. That's crazy. JV, go ahead.
Breaking news, Aaron is on
12-year-old ankle injury, guys.
My sources,
still haven't healed.
My sources be telling me. But about as far as vices goes, like, I think it's kind of unfortunate that some people feel like they have to depend on certain things, whether it's alcohol, whether it's gambling, whether it's, smoking weed when they're going through troubled times in their lives. I think that's where you should more or less rely on your friends and talk about what's going on deep inside. Because, what I've learned over time is that people that tend to rely on certain things like that, all that does is just kind of magnify your problems with other things. So if you finding yourself drinking all the time, smoking all the time, getting drunk or getting high all the time, you're not able to function like the way that you should, then you're, compounding on top of your problems. So Sean, like when you say you're on day 49.
I'm just guessing, by the way. I don't know that for a fact.
Well, it's probably more like day 70, but it strikes me to my core because it's like, you're my best friend, and I hate the fact that we are in quarantine, but I would hope that, you would know, like, if you're going through anything, that my phone lines, both of them, because, I got 2 phones, both of them are always available anytime that you need to talk about something, because I never want you to feel like you're in this world alone, and that's kind of for everybody. I think that's the way friendship should be across the board.
Absolutely, absolutely. But as far as vices go, it's unfair to say that it's always a problem. Maybe sometimes those vices aren't harmful to a person. Now, if it's
Okay.
drinking constantly, there are consequences to that, whether it be liver damage or kidney failure. But as far as vices go, let's say it's something as innocuous as food. Let's say you're into steaks, really high-end steaks. I don't see that as being a problem. It's more or less as a solution to whatever's ailing you mentally.
I would like, yes, I would like to interject. Okay, so when you say like food or sex, let's start with sex. If you're out here having sex all willy-nilly with everybody because you have a problem with, sex, if you're not being safe about that, now you're sitting here increasing the chances of possibly getting somebody pregnant. That's the last thing we need. Possibly containing something, contracting some type of STD, STI, whatever they call it nowadays. So that right there within itself is a problem. And then if somebody has an issue with food, whether they just love food and that's one of their vices, now you're talking about obesity. Now you're talking about diabetes. Now you're talking about high cholesterol. So it's like, I think everything can be done in moderation. I'm not a smoker. I'm not a drinker. I'm not somebody that's overly done with sex. I'm not, whatever the case may be. But if you're overly doing it, I think that's when things can definitely be a problem for sure.
So you have no vice at all, JV. Nothing.
Not even one.
No. Wait. Okay. So the only thing
What's your vice?
Okay, the only thing that I would even consider as being a potential vice, and this
Here you go.
No, I'm just being.
Don't be in denial.
I'm not in denial because that's that.
I mean, that's the first step. First step is to admit you have a problem. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
So spit it out.
Let it out. Let it go.
Okay, so you've been to the meetings and we can tell. All right, so when I was younger, I did have a thing with gambling. You know what I'm saying? When I didn't have any real bills or anything like that, I found myself with my grandma, and we get on them slot machines, and we just out here. Now, she had money. She would lose thousands. I would lose a few hundred and just be devastated. And so I realized that gambling is one of those things for me. Another thing that's not a vice, but could be a vice if I was to allow it to be a vice, is certain type of vodkas that I could drink like water because they don't even really have a taste for me. And so one of the main reasons, like vodka. And one of the main reasons, wait, let me explain.
When did you start drinking vodka?
You're just making up shit now.
No, this is breaking news.
Okay.
One of the main reasons why I don't drink, other than the fact that my dad is an alcohol and drug counselor, he always told us not to drink, was when I first started trying vodka and I realized that I could drink it like water, like it was nothing. That's when I was concerned that I was going to be an alcoholic. And so back when I was friends with two other people we won't name, but y'all know them. And they, who I'm talking about. So the one that went to New York was like,
let's call him Boston.
Just go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Boston. So when I was friends with Boston, you may remember that, that's something that, I realized that I could drink, vodka like water. So that's why I didn't even engage. And since I was older than everybody that's on this call, especially Sean and Aaron, since, we all kicked it back then like that. What I would do is be you guys, DD or whatever the case may be. But I knew if I was to participate in drinking vodka, I could, drink vodka like there's no tomorrow. And I don't want to.
And that's crazy, bro. So I've known everybody here about 10, 15 years, something like that. And you good? Everything all right?
Paranormal activity going on over there.
So I guess somebody is having one of them drive-by birthday parties and then nobody told me.
Quarantine.
Yep, good time, right?
Man.
That damn fire truck just scared the hell out of me. Okay, bye.
No, you good. I was just saying, I've known you for about 10, 15 years, and I've never heard that, ever. Aaron, have you?
Yeah. No, this is news to me.
I thought that was the reason why you didn't drink. I thought it was something else. Shoot.
No, I always kind of just kept that to myself because I don't want people to be kind of judge me like, oh man, not like that. But it was more or less like I knew that I could.
I see that more as a respect thing. Like some people see how easy I could throw back drinks, and yeah, they do hit me with judgment. They take it from all different areas, and I get that. But I would never guess that.
And it's one of those things when you're younger too, because you gotta keep in mind too, like MC, like when Sean and I and all us was like hanging out, a lot of them were drinking before they were 21. I mean, full disclosure. So like, I used to drive, my friends London and Mike around before I had a driver's license. You see what I'm saying? So
y'all just breaking types.
Yeah, maybe don't expose crimes.
Fully illegal.
On live podcast, you know what I'm saying?
It's been 10 years. Ain't that a 10-year law or something? It's been 10 years. But
no statute of limitations has not passed.
Oh, okay. Well,
so we're going to jail. But keep going.
I might have allegedly used to drive people around while they were drunk and I didn't have a license. And there may have been a time that a South Suburban police officer pulled me over and was like, "Where's your license?" I was like, "I ain't got one." But the point that I'm making is he thought it was commendable that I drove my drunk friends home. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, back then I never really told anybody that. But yeah, that was one of my biggest fears, is that I was going to become an alcoholic because I could drink vodka like water. And so I just got away from alcohol completely.
So then to kind of try to transition to Mary Claire, right? We haven't heard your vice, right? Is it liquor?
I would say just going out acting a fool could be my. A lot of people don't like that about me.
Okay, tell us more.
I'm very outgoing. You know, one of my favorite things to do is, you know, initiate people going out and having a crazy time, dancing, drinking, taking shots. You know, sticking out in the public. Like I just like drawing attention, I guess, when I'm out with my friends. Whatever.
Like Tatiana level attention or something different?
It depends on the season, the day of the week that I'm wearing, all that kind of stuff. It all I'm
Okay.
Well, I got a new level of perspective on life. You know, I'm trying to discover who I am still. I mean, some people are done doing that at 26, but I'm like, I got a whole life ahead of me to live. I might as well make my mistakes now. And by the time I'm, you know, a little bit older and I'm kind of digging up more permanent things, then, you know, then I can say I learned from my mistakes. I still have mistakes I've learned from. You know, there's things I've done, and I'm just like, yeah, that probably wasn't the best decision.
Wait. I got some breaking news. We got some breaking news. Somebody said that one of your vices is busting it wide open. Is that true? We just want to confirm. We just want to confirm.
Just airing dirty laundry, I see.
No, I'm saying when the messages come across, I can't control.
Moves out of state, and everybody just starts breaking news.
Jesus Christ, man.
I know my big thing is choice is tequila. You know, taking a shot of tequila on the license party. People know me for that. That is my drink of choice. Like you said, you could drink vodka like water. I could drink tequila like water all day, every day. People are like, how is she still functioning after shot number 6? But, you know, I deal with the repercussions later. I'm not going to say I'm dependent on it. I'm not like sneaking shots behind closed doors, drinking it every single day. But when it's my time to have fun and burst out, that's my style.
So Aaron, you got 2 alcoholics. I guess 2.5, right? Because JV's kind of one.
Half of alcohol.
Is that what's up?
I am not an alcoholic. I said I could be. Put an asterisk.
That's why I said you was half.
Okay.
Half.
Yeah, that's why you put half. It makes sense.
So Aaron, are you in the alcohol vice club as well?
No, absolutely not. See, I don't actually like drinking very often. Last time I drank was probably a month ago. I know you guys couldn't imagine that, but
not at all.
I'm at home. I have no reason to drink. But my thing is, I like food, and that's why I brought up food earlier. It depends on what kind of food it is, too. I'm more into the baking,
weird shit,
like the baked goods. I mean, it's fine if you're not adventurous, but I'm into more of the baked goods things. I'm into your cakes, cookies, pies. Those are probably like my 3 favorite things. I love them. I love them so much. I used to bake all the time. I don't bake as much now because I'm lazy as shit. You know, it's hard to really get into hours of baking after working 10 hours at work.
You know, I would like to say last time I was in Aaron's house, I remember he made some macaroni and cheese out of cauliflower, and I was so fucking pissed. So to hear his ass get on this screen talking about, my vice is food, I like to bake, and his ass ain't
I just said I haven't done it in a while, man. Like, understand, I'm trying to get to the healthier side of life, right?
Okay.
I can't sit here, just like you said, and that those consequences you said about eating too much, where it could be diabetes, hypertension, the whole 9. My whole family has dealt with those type of issues. I don't want to have to deal with those same issues, right? So I'm trying to get to the healthier side of eating. I drink nothing but water at this point. I don't even drink pop or juice or any of those things because I want to make sure I don't get diabetes. Since everybody in my family.
I just want to know, can we get a peach cobbler before you become full healthy? Can we get?
Well, you know what? I don't make peach cobbler. I think that didn't get passed down to me. Peach cobbler. I got a couple of aunties who know how to make it, but I don't know how to make peach cobbler at all.
Okay.
So you ain't getting that from me.
His
All right.
specialty was blondies and brownies.
Yeah, blondies, brownies, cakes,
Okay.
No, so
I'm a
I
local
respect
chocolate.
that, right?
chocolate
So
chip cookies, baby.
facts. So to kind of wrap it up, right? So the point is we all have different vices and we all handle them in different ways, right? And we all have maybe a support system or a support system we weren't aware of. So kind of utilize that, right? So for everybody listening, just if you have a vice, right, good or bad, if it gets to a point where it's an everyday thing, talk to somebody, get help.
You can hit us
I know I need help.
hit
Um,
us up.
for real. But and I know that Rona and quarantine is not helping any of it. And kind of speaking of Rona, right? So the next show, we're going to talk about the coronavirus, how it's affecting our everyday lives or at work, at home, socially, right? Because I'm in Illinois, so is Aaron. I got JV out in Iowa. I got Mary Claire out in Texas. So we're all kind of going through different things. So we'll kind of discuss how that's affecting us on the next show. But to kind of wrap it up, please give us any feedback on the video, whatever it is. We'll take it. We really just want to improve, get better, grow. But we'll do a quick rapid fire before we wrap it up. Cool. JV, you got anything you want to add real quick?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like you mentioned, all jokes aside, I know we all joke around and laugh and that kind of a thing, but definitely if you feel like you got something that's going on, not just three people here on the show with me, but anybody in general, I'm always available to talk. That's just who I am. You know, I know we're all, you know, in quarantine, but we're all in this together, for sure.
Bet. Aaron?
Yeah, don't let anything boil over during this time. There are still hotlines out there that can help you if you're feeling like your
Oh, we're
vice is
counselors
taking
now.
over your life.
I said we're
So what?
counselors now.
I mean, you know, I'm just
I mean,
piggybacking off of what he said, man.
Yeah,
But at the
we're just
same
trying to
time, you
help
don't
you
want it
out.
to let it become a problem. You don't want to let it become a problem because it's very easy when you're in the house all the time for that one vice that you rely on during this time to become your whole life. I've had family members who are alcoholics, family members who are addicted to crack. I don't want to see anybody go down that road. And if you do have a problem, utilize the hotlines.
Okay, and Sean, the number is 1-800.
Shut up.
I'll tell you.
Mary Claire, what you got for us?
My name is Mary MC, and I got a whole different perspective on how we exited this. If you need help finding your vice, you can hit me up. I'm the life of the party. I will help
Jesus
you.
Oh my
See,
God.
you know
What
what?
is your problem?
So enjoy ours together, and then I'm also the best listener in the world. I can help you deal with it, help you solve life problems. I am open ears all the time.
Yeah, so that is how we just got canceled after our first episode.
Jesus
Shout out
Christ.
to MC. Thank you.
Call
I'm
mutual
gonna
support.
find
Okay,
your
gotta have
vice.
some balance in this conversation.
We're not getting any sponsors after that one. We almost got a sponsor.
You're right, Patron.
I would hope not.
So to wrap it up, right? Follow us on Twitter. We're gonna upload this video to YouTube. We're gonna send the link out to everybody that we know. But again, please give us feedback. Until next time, Chicago, holla at you.
Deuces.
This man